Dun 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 dun. So yeah, hello there here. Today we're going to play LSD, aka Love Sucking Demon, developed by Vimy, who also developed that game about neighborhood suburban. God fucking damn it! I don't know the word, okay? And also I developed Vimy, I'm truly sorry, I forgot the name of the game. I remember the visuals, I remember the storyline. Oh my god, Dragon shaking. I'm just gonna link it. When I remember the visuals, so I'll definitely know which game I'm talking about. But yeah, Vimy is an excellent game developer, and they have also developed created some tutorial online on YouTube on how to create great visual novels, which you should totally check it out. I feel like it's really helpful. Anyway, yes, we are on LSD. We are not on LSD. That's just the way I'm saying that we are on the game right now. God, I'm so tired. Maybe I shouldn't play this game while I'm just tired. Oh my god, this is like truly peak experience of gaming playing this. Do I have more movement? This is yeah no. Which one? Which one? This? That's the one bouncing. Maybe this? Yeah, perfect. Anyway, yes, let's start playing the game, shall we? Report 06729. Huh? 0627698. Nice. At approximately 7 to 23 a.m., I was heading to Silverstone Cafe for my usual breakfast. Mr. Robert Thompson, a young man from the village, shuffled out of a bar with a group of his friends, all presumably exhausted after a night of frivolity, each headed their separate ways home. I am so tired that it's hard for me to see. Maybe I shouldn't play it when I'm this tired, actually. Not exactly tired, but it's hard to explain. I specifically noticed his stop for a cigarette. That's what caught my eyes. As I recalled, he was on his third attempt to quit the stove. Yes indeed. Damn. As he fumbled with an early match, an unidentified gentleman walked past him and said something nearly inaudibly. When asked for clarification for this report afterwards, Mr. Thompson did not care to repeat it. That's when one of the extra terrestrials appeared again. Oh! I maintained a calm demeanor and observed it for as long as I could before it recognized my presence. I did not observe any clocking device or other discernible apparatus, or any behavior of which I could derive intent before it faded from view. Assured the extraterrestrial event has passed, I calmly crossed the street and took a clarifying statement from Mr. Thompson, who reported... I'm gonna move my model a bit. Maybe make it smaller. Tiny model. Wait, is this time? Yeah, this is time. This is time to... Where is it? Yes, this is time for Tiny Terrorose. To play the game. Where was I? Who reported symptoms consistent with our victim, an elevated pulse rate, dry mouth, and a lingering sense of solitude. The contemporaneous on-site report will be included separately with the statement. And a report. Investigation. I love it. I can barely see my cursor. I should take a drink or something. At 7:58 a.m. I arrived back from the bakery with 2 churros, a coffee, and a hot tea. I allowed a small breakfast in the kitchen and typed out report 0628669A until my romantic companion woke up. The Jane Doe gurgly asked from the bedroom, "What took you so long, Silver Fox?" I had to take a statement from witness on my way to the shop. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, oh, this is report 0627769B. And one sort of an American activity you see today. It's some litter. Someone litter? How dare? I don't believe littering is under the FBI's jurisdiction, Miss Doe. And I guess there's nothing you can do about this. Miss Doe purposely dropped a paper napkin on the floor and poised-startlingly pushed the rest of the sack to the ground. I took it upon myself to protect these minor assets that the FBI deemed necessary for my mission. And I did periodic duty with version before. Oh. Okay. Shit, I'm gonna late for work. Jane huffed as she rushed out of bed, frantically wrestling her underwear on. She drew an undershirt on a shirt, held at her hair, and struck with suspender straps that keep her oversized second-hand suit on her slender frame. Let's find out what appeared! It was turned around, facing away from me, hunched over, a monolith of gnarled gray flesh in the middle of my bedroom. As Jane dressed, she looked at me from the mirror, but my eyes were transfixed to the alien, and I didn't make any sound. In fear it would feel my presence. Jane could still sense my unease. I'm just wearing it for work, that's all. With a heavy sigh, I answered. I'm sorry, what's this? See, this is why Vimy is such a excellent. Like, it's amazing, like, all the activity on the screen, like, the move, everything, I just love that shit. But yes, let me play a bit because I want to take a drink. I'm tired. I should have do this before. Regret fills the faces of all grown men. Crying, shaking, making myself tiny, maybe? Yes, tiny. Perfect, BRB. Okay, I'm back. At the sound of my voice, the extraterrestrial vanished, but I could still see it in the mirror. That was new. You watched me dress for a while and then you look away. I could see its mouth, its teeth. I can keep watching you if that's what you want, Jane. Jane stood there as I watched it gorge on her, its whole body pulse and plunge. No blood, no indication of anything physically wrong, but as she strained her tie, I could see there was less of her. I need to get to work, she whispered. I hugged her tight, and suddenly she yelled in alarm. She probably didn't think an old gumshoe like me could run so fast across the room in his skivvies, but when she realized how badly I needed to hold her, she melted in my arms. After Jane left, I rushed back to the mirror and stared at it, my eyes darting around the reflection of the room, looking for anything out of the ordinary. I combed through the rest of the apartment for any sense of extraterrestrial presence, but there was nothing. Okay? I'm giving this detailed account to explain my reasoning for changing the parameters of my observation report assignment. This threat was far more immense and visceral than my superior had communicated to me, and any governing agencies will have to settle for whatever can be salvaged during autopsy. There are 3 areas where the concentration of encounters with the extraterrestrial was larger than normal. The House of D, the 6th Precinct Police Building, and the Stonewall Inn. The House of D is a woman's prison located in the corner of Greenwich and Christopher Street. Habitually overcrowded, prisoners tend to congregate at the windows where they converse with friends and loved ones on the outside, often to the amusement of passersby. The 6th Precinct Police Department is at 135 Charles Street and is often bustling during the evening hours, where it holds suspects not only from local beat cops but raids from the State Liquor Authority and the Public Moral Division of the NEPD. Interesting. For all intents and purposes, the Stonewall Inn is a private club, but it is widely known amongst the local as mafia-owned gay time. Young people often start their nights there, meeting new acquaintances before moving into some of the other bar, clubs, and late-night dinners in the area. Very interesting. I feel like all of this has some similarity. I have to pick which one to investigate first. I really want to go to Stonewall Inn, but House of D first. At approximately 10:15, I arrived at the House of Detention and watched with the other looky-loos at the Friday crowd of family, friends, and loved ones, relaying news and gossip to the bars above. There weren't as many as usual, but there was one in particular I was waiting for. At 13 on the dot, Billy arrived, her weather-beaten guitar covered in duct tape and old glue. This is the last stop on your USO tour, Billy. Billy usually had a friend or two in the slammer at any given time and had made it a habit to come by and keep the girl's spirit up. The aliens like her. You know, she sniffed. You may have won over everyone with daddy issue, but I don't trust you one bit. I have no idea what Jane sees in you, but I know that you're bad news. It's good to see you too, Billy. How's your girlfriend? Jane's been looking forward to the next issue of her magazine. Billy's eye narrowed, and she slowly lifted a hand, pointing it at the window 2 stories up. One of the hand wavers a chipper hello in my direction, before lowering most of the finger into an obscene gesture. Wow. Charlie got picked up for wearing her new suit out and about. You know what she said when she put it on? She told me it was a crime to look so good. That sort of thing is supposed to be an expression, you know. That can be the whole story, Billy. They will throw you in overnight for cross-dressing, but if she's in the house of D, she must have done something. Billy scoffed. They also throw in a charge for resisting arrest. She strung a few lazy chords on the guitar. Resisting arrest because the cop tried to check her underwear in the middle of the street and she screamed. Rumor has it that that's how you and Jane got together, Fox. You like the surprise. That's not how it happened, I protested. I could barely see it behind her eyes and didn't want to risk looking it in the eye. She plunked a guitar string on one at a time. Charlie was locked up 2 weeks ago, Agent Fox. The trial is not for another month. I started leaning over her and I could see its mouth. Ooh, spooky. What did it want? Why fit now? Those pigs aren't even gonna go to the trial, you know? They never do. Tears welled in her eyes. They know it will be better to use their time to arrest some other queer who can make bail. There was less of Billy. Is it feeding on her sadness? I had what I needed. If you just need to pay bail, I could... Fuck you, Fox. You've been watching me come out here for months. You know this shit's been happening the whole time you were here. And now you want to help? Because little Janie's magazine might be late. That's not why I... You know, I hope Jane's get locked up next. Maybe some time away from you is all she needs to come to her sense. Her random plucking morphed into full shorts. Now if you'll excuse me, I got some troops to entertain. As she surrendered the girl all conversation ceased, the city listened closely. Ooh. Scattered are we over land, over sea. How many number will never be known? Each one must learn from the start. I can sing. I need to learn to sing someday. She must wear a mask on her heart and live in a world set apart. Shy secret word of her own. My eyes began to drift. Why would the extraterrestrial eat their sadness? Did they eat chemicals or brain produce? If it ate them, wouldn't it make us less sad rather than more? Next to me, I overhear a conversation between the spectators. Where's everyone today? Aren't there usually more people here? Or a bunch of them are at Judy's Garland funeral up at Midtown. The stairs are packed. If sadness is what the aliens want, then I figure Garland's funeral isn't a bad place to start. Report 062769D. The crowd of people spread throughout Midtown like veins of sorrow. If my hunch was right, it will be a damn buffet for those monsters. I bought one of Jane's compact mirrors. She left at the apartment and pierced the crowd through its reflection. It was an unusual sight, regularly checking my mirror like a cautious driver, but I figured whatever clocking system they have, it doesn't work all that well with mirrors. This be my best chance to spot one. I spent a couple hours searching up and down the funeral procession before someone called out. Honey, your conceal's looking... Oh, you're Jane Squeeze. Gerald Jones and a cadre of Greenwich villagers restlessly waited in line for the wake. They were dressed in their best, not all suits and dresses, but at least clean, new clothes that were now dripping in sweat from the July heat. A few had curly cleaned up and reapplied their makeup a few times already. It's a pleasure to see you, Mr. Jones. I hope you're all keeping cool. We are doing just fine, Mr. Jones chuckled, as he squeezed sweat from the lapel of my jacket. But it looks like you've been running a marathon in this thing. I suppose I could stop a spell. I took out my handkerchief and blotched my forehead, thick with sweat. I could have walked around all day without seeing one of those bastards, and it would prove a damn thing. The dialogue is kind of confusing because I don't know who is who sometimes. I had to test out my theory connecting the aliens to spare, and you can make an omelette without cracking a few eggs. I recognized most of the people in the group, but 3 of them stood out to me. I see the aliens around them before. If I needed a bait, one of them would have to do. Derek Holder, Miss Sprightly, Robin. I don't know which one I should pick. Derek Holder? Next straight, Fox, stand tall, Mr. Hauser muttered as he straightened his tie. His funeral is a prime opportunity for the community to set a good example. Mr. Hauser was a member of the New York City Metacian Society, a gay advocacy group that's been around for nearly 20 years, and he'd been there since day one. I know that because he would mention it every chance he had. We're in desperate need to show the public that we are normal people just like everyone else, Hauser proclaimed. The mission hasn't changed since the 50s. They might think our methods are a bit old-fashioned, he continued, but they'll be what wins the politician over in the end. Yeah, winning the politician over, huh? I hate to do this. It's like covering him in honey and throwing him to the bears. But I have to see if my hunch is right, if Santa's what draws the alien in. Look around you, I growled. The crowd's keeping out of arm's length. They don't even want to touch you. What makes you think they'll ever accept you? Hauser barely reacted at all, like I'd been speaking gibberish. Could he tell I was trying to rile him up? After a moment he laughed and nodded in agreement. You say all that, but it will change. Too many rough edges right now, that's a problem. Too many kids out there making us look like mincing fairies, but you don't win over the proletariat that way. You don't get the right to serve in the military that way. Hauser made a speech like he's made it 1,000 times before, and as I think about it, I realized he probably did. I'm not going to make him sad that way. Changing strategy, I look out towards the Campbell funeral home. Really tears a fella up, seeing a dame like that die so young. Hauser paused contemplatively and softly said, "She was a role model, you know." Oh. Yeah, she wasn't she? Hollywood shot the woman up and spat her back out, but through it all, she still remained strong. You wouldn't have cover going to some quack to change who she fundamentally was. Kids need role models like that. If we can stand up and be proudly visible, then the kids growing up right now are never going to know that they are not alone. His eyes began to water. A few of the other kids overhearing started to tear up too. If it would happen, it would be now. I take out the compact mirror and search for one of them. Our concert were a place we could be out, he continues, and respectively too. And now that's all over. Nothing, no sense of extraterrestrial life. Aww. His face tightened. That's why we have to focus on respectability, respect for ourselves, and respect from the public. He opened a face and covered my compact mirror. That's when they'll all understand that we're in this together, Fox. Yeah, I lie. Freshen up, I took out the compact mirror and started walking the precision line again, but this time it looked a bit more familiar. When I was a young man, my nan passed away right before I came home only from Japan. I went right from the airport to the funeral and found half of my hometown packed into that parlor. I think I managed to say 2 words to my nan in her casket before I was whisked off to another distant relative, or a family friend I never heard of. It was all blur, but it was a pleasant blur. An impressionist painting of the people I love. Oh, that's nice. Report 062769E. I arrived at home at approximately 5:48 p.m. Garland funeral was a bust, no extraterrestrial sighting. Hey, Silver Fox! Jane yelled from the bedroom, barely audible over a sputtering blow dryer. Oh yeah, the song. I thought you'd still be at your apartment, I yelled back as I untucked my sweat-stained shirt. I left my best dress here and I wanted to wear it to the funeral. Garland's funeral? The line was still 3 blocks long, and it's only getting longer as people get off to work. The church will close before you have the chance to get inside. The blow dryer went silent, and even from the other room I could hear her roll her eyes as she sighed. You know, I have my best tux here too, I yelled out from the bathroom. Your only tux. Let's say after I take a shower I put it on and we can both look our best. Why bother? People tend to dress up for dinner and the show. Jane, her hair still in curls, nearly slipped on the tile floor. She rested so quick. What? I have heard some people in line who rather wait to see Garland than Oh, Calcutta tonight, and I bought her their tickets of them. We are seeing a show on Broadway? And once I had tickets, I figured I'd see if Sardi had any cancellation, and well, we're eating at Sardi's? Not with your hair like that, we're not. I won't get a kiss like that again until my wedding night. Oh. There's no better feeling than Jen giving this girl everything she wants. I was on top of the moon. Until we got into the cab. The taxi driver was cordial enough, but when he looked through the rearview mirror and gave Jen a good look, the mood shifted. As he registered the mirror, I saw it in the mirror. An extraterrestrial sitting between us. It didn't have any mass, no luminous cushion where it sat, or resistance when my hand passed through it. But I still felt it. Even as I looked out the window, Jane held her coat tight. I didn't want it here. Not tonight, not with Jane. Jane, I love you. Chibi met me and gripped my hand tight and didn't let go. But the extraterrestrial was still there. It stood there as we ate of Sardi's. It loomed over us during the show. And it followed us back on the long walk back to Greenwich Village. Are you sure you wouldn't like to stay with me again tonight? I'm real tired. I'd rather go to bed. I just have an easier time sleeping if you're around, that's all. I lied. You're having trouble sleeping? I could see its eye reflected in her apartment door window. Yes. Are you feeling sick? Do you need to go to the doctor? I'm just going to have trouble sleeping, that's all. Jane scrunched up her nose, reached in her purse, and took out the pen I bought her. You have that legal part of yours handy. As the pen looped and whirled on the page, she slowly spoke the word, Mama Miss Celine. She tore off the page and handed it to me. When I left home, she's the one who took me in. I had trouble sleeping too. Mama will give you exactly what you needed. Desperately, I pleaded. You're what I need. Jane opened the apartment door and chuckled. Good night, Silver Fox. Through the reflection of the window, I watched it follow her up the stairs. I needed to get Jane away from the thing. Could I order police protection? Maybe check back at the FBI headquarters and see if I could get a tail on her. No? Then I remembered the way Jane looked at me when she first saw my badge. She never forgave me if I got her rope in any of this. I take a look at the note in my hand. If Mama Miss Celine was someone Jane knows and trusts, maybe she convinced Jane to agree to some protection. Report 062769D. The Grace Church bell struck 1 as I walked up the stoop and rang for Mama Miss Celine. Ooh. I suddenly felt embarrassed that I was waking up an old lady this late at night, but I was buzzed in almost immediately. The paint chipped at the walls, and even this late at night, it was noisy in the halls. Every door and window was open, but it was still a good 10 degrees hotter inside than out. On the 6th floor, one door was covered with an artificial Christmas wreath, like a mossy secret door in a fantasy novel. A faint wispy smoke streamed out, and I followed through the narrow apartment hallway to Mama Miss Celine. She was sitting alone at the kitchen table, surrounded by little bowls of powders and crinkled plastic bags filled with empty pill casing, while she hummed something upbeat. What brings you in, dearie? Do you have a horn? I pulled out the kitchen chair, took off my coat, and hung it on the back of the chair, and I slumped down. I was exhausted. Jane is in danger. I need your help. Mama Miss Celine laughed and opened a tackle box filled with even more powders. And what exactly Jane is in danger from? Aliens. Dangerous people. That is classified. Aliens? Oh, that does sound dangerous. She coos as she takes a long-handed spoon and starts scooping a red powder into the mixing bowl. I'm not joking, Mr. Miss Celine. I've been assigned by the FBI to watch over Greenwich Village, and in the course of my investigation, I've seen them target Jane. Is Jane in trouble with the FBI? No, of course not. Mama Michelin looked at me quizzically. Then what are you investigating for the FBI? To be honest, I had to review the transcript of my assignment sometime. Transcript? Again, Wolf. We have reason to believe New York City is in due for some trouble again, folks. The ship a few years ago started some real trouble for local law enforcement. We don't want anything on the scale of the Compton cafeteria riot happening here on the East Coast. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with this event, sir, but I can. They're not important, Agent. We just need you to keep an eye out for anything un-American, if you catch my meaning. Ooh. Sir, you know what we mean, Agent. Think baseball and apple pie, and if what you see out there doesn't seem to fit that picture, the FBI want to know about it. Anything alien, sir? Anything that doesn't belong, Agent. I understand, sir. Yeah, that's why alien. Thinking back to everything I knew, no answer. The reason I have been investigating Greenwich Village for the FBI is... to find aliens? Maybe? Ah! Mama is inside as she scooped an orange powder. That sounds like a difficult job. So you can understand why Jane needs to be put under protection? No. Mama Michelin curtly replied as she stared in white powder to the mixture. This has been a waste of my time, I growled as I collected my coat. Mama Michelin took out a loud sniff of the powder, and I see her pupils go wide. She asked, "Is that what you're worried about, in the corner there?" I turned to look at a corner of the room filled with kitchen showcase. Oh, that's so cool. I don't see anything, I replied, and turned around into a light haze of dust, blown out of Mama's Michelin open hand. What the hell is this? What did you do that for? Mama Michelin grinned. Now what do you see there? An extraterrestrial! It will wear off soon, Mama Michelin assured me, using a larger spoon to pour yellow powder into her bowl. She went back to humming her little tune. Did the extraterrestrial only look clear to me when they were about to feed? Have all those settings just been while they feed? As she stirred the mixture, she mumbled, "You're so focused on what's in front of you, and what you're perceived, it's blinding you to what you can see. This should open your eyes a bit." The extraterrestrial slowly faded from view as Mama Michelin took a loose bag of empty pills and started filling the powder in them in a reverse egg crackling motion, like she was making an omelette. Ooh. In less than a minute, I had a small baggie of pills in my hand. Take 1 day or 2 if you don't have anything else important that's gotta get done. And with 3, they'll be able to touch you, Mama Michelin warned. Ooh, interesting. 1 a day or 2 if you don't have anything else important. With a moment hesitation, I took 2 out and dry salt them. Mama Michelin smiled, and as I walked out her door, she went back to humming a tune I couldn't recognize. I didn't feel any different at first, just a bit thirsty. But as I walked home, I started to feel them around me. And then I began to see them. They didn't move, didn't even turn their heads at me. I began to run, but more lined the streets, placed evenly apart like Greek columns. I looked up and saw them in the windows. I looked down and they stared at me from the gutters. I kept running. I ran and meandered through the streets, trying to find some pattern to their placement, some clue as to why they are here. When I suddenly turned a corner and saw a wall of them, stacked on top of one another, with more climbing upward to build it higher like a castle tower. Exhausted from my sprint through the streets, I jogged closer, noticing they built this cylinder with their backs out, and their eyes facing towards the center. Like they weren't keeping anything out, they were keeping something inside. So I ran in. Report 062869B. Past the alien wall, I saw a small group of friends slowly discussing which bar to go next, while others watched some commotion from the stone wall lane shaking their heads. Ah! I walked through the crowds as it got thicker and more agitated. In the center, 2 plainclothes officers pushed a woman into the police van, but she held out her arms and legs, playing against the van back door and screamed. Why didn't you guys do something? You could see every line of sight hit her, like their eyeballs were pulled with invisible thread. Then the eyes gravitated to the police. More people came from other bars, apartment buildings, and a few from Christopher Park across the street, but no one from outside of the wall of extraterrestrials. Were the aliens corralling us? Why? What is happening here? Something light struck my head, pulling me from my daze. And as I ran my hand through my hair, a few loose pebbles landed on the ground. The crowd wasn't angry exactly, they looked elated. Free. They picked up stones and grabbed change from their pockets and threw them at the cops. Ooh! I see a few drag queen ground and strained to lift a parking meter out of the ground. Hell yeah. Kids climbed to voice band, dancing and singing. Someone grabbed me roughly by the collar and I whipped my head around to see Detective Stan Doyle. Follow me where it's safe, Agent Fox, he barked, and after another barrage of rocks hit my back, I obliged. The stone wall in was empty, but it wasn't quiet. The screams of the crowd reverberated off of the broken glass littered across the wet floor, and the record needle on the jukebox would intermittently scratch as the floor vibrated from the stomps of the crowd. But no aliens inside. I hadn't seen any extraterrestrial past the wall of them, in fact. Detective Doyle just closed the door and the vibrating symphony dulled to a purr. A few of the officers, all of them were in plain clothes, helped him barricade the entrance with whatever broken furniture was handy, and as a reporter in a press fest lit a cigarette behind the bar. Why aren't the extraterrestrials inside of their walls? What happened here? Talk to Detective Boyle? Nervous cop reporter. Detective Boyle. What happened? Just give me a second, Agent. He groaned as he frantically spoke with another officer. Nervous cop? The register was open while the officer rushed to the empty in a flurry of movement. Fucking mafia, all those assholes care about is cash. He had shaky hands peeling another fistful of bills from the cash register. Their scumbag rate is rotting the city from inside. He whined, roughly filling his suit pockets. This was a raid on the mafia? It was all really about the mafia. Those lot have been blackmailing and strong-arming those people out there, and they're mad at us? He started aggressively flicking on safety of his gun. Goddamn ingrates. So, why is everyone out there so riled up? Why were you arresting patrons instead of the fellas running his joint? He ignored me and shouted, "We got a warrant, so why are they so pissed?" He reflexively took a dramatic swing at some unmarked bottles behind him, and the mist of swill gave him some pause. I looked at the rest of the broken glass on the floor and realized how it got there. They weren't paying their dues, he muttered as he finished emptying the register, shaking his head in confusion. Doyle? Reporter? What happened? Another gay bar raid, the reporter replied. Something like this happened every week in the city. So why is that? I asked, pointing to the mob past the plywood covering window. Happening this week. He shrugs. Full moon? He takes a drag on his cigarette and wistfully remarks. When the crowd turned, they said I'd be safer in here, in case they thought I was a cop. He tapped his press credentials, and I could see it would be an easy mistake to make it in all that chaos. I don't think I used it, he says, tapping some ashes on the corner of the room, but I just feel more comfortable with a gun, you know. I could hear the voices outside growing louder, but as anxious as the air was, I could feel the weight of my sidearm nestled against my chest. The reporter broke the silence. At least it will make one one hell of a story, huh? Detective Doyle? A different officer would come up to Doyle every few minutes, loudly whispering some new problem, only for Doyle to yell out. What kitchen? Where the hell is the kitchen? Or, what do you mean that back door is welded shut? Is this a joke? After half an hour, Detective Doyle, clearly in need of distraction, called me over. You don't happen to have some sort of way to communicate to the FBI, do you, Agent Fox? Some kind of secret communication, or communicator, or small radio, or something? I generally use the telephone like everyone else, detective. Well, we don't have a working phones, he stammered out. or running water, or a fire exit, and I'm fucking pissed the undercover officer didn't tell us any of this. The outside became a roar again as the plywood covering the window fell off completely. The crowd cheered and threw a fresh hail of bottles, rocks, and beer cans at that stone wall. A few cups get pelted as we retreated further into the bar. We started hearing a pounding at the front door. They must have had a battering ram out there, and there was nothing we could do but wait here. So we waited. I'm not sure when the fire by the front window started. Probably sparks set off all the alcohol on the ground and started burning the plywood. Without running water though, all we could do was wait for it to burn itself out. The police were holding prisoners in the bathroom. What? So if one of the officers had to pee, they had to do it at the back corner of the bar. One officer took out his gun, but Detective Doyle looked at him and shook his head. They beat us to death before he could reload the thing. Thinking contemplatively for a moment, Detective Doyle stood up, paced for a few moments, and turned to us. I'm sure it was an inspiring speech he gave, the officer relaxed, and hardly any of them touched their guns afterward, but I didn't hear a word of it. The extraterrestrial arrived. They stood behind the officer, and as Detective Doyle emotionally pleaded to his men and angrily pointed at the crowd outside, his alien stooped down behind him. But it didn't eat him. It hugged him. One set of arms wrapped around his torso, and another, until it became an armor over Detective Doyle. I felt a cold sensation on my breast as the arms surrounded me too. It felt like 100 of them hugging me, pulling my arms and legs, but even as I frantically grasped at it, I couldn't touch it, I couldn't take it off. Around the room, the alien sheeted each of the officers in their flesh. It didn't feel alien. The strangest part was how familiar it felt. Natural and cold, like sitting under a waterfall. It felt snug and tight, like a well-worn shoe, and I only feel resistance when I spread out my arms. It was almost comfortable, until I remembered the warm feeling of Jane's hands in mine. The armor sizzled at the thug, and pain flashed up my arm in a dramatic aria. When the pain subsided, so did the feeling of my warmth. The sensation of air in my skin and my own fingers felt like the stranger. Then my thugs became stranger thugs. Anger, fear, hatred, power. I clumsily searched and meandered over my body with my numb fingers, blindly struggling to grasp Mama Mescaline pills. In frustration, I ripped off my jacket, throwing it on the sticky floor. The pills scattered like stars. I would have been a strange sight to the rest of the officer, but at the moment the front door of the stone wall inn burst in, more men armored than the aliens, holding police tactical shield, beckoned us outward. Some of the men started running to the entrance, while the rest followed Detective Doyle to grab the rest of their prisoner. I crawled out on the wet floor, searching for a dry pill that didn't dissolve in the mix of cheap mafia hooch and piss. I found a dry one stuck in my jacket pocket and cracked it open in my mouth. The suit suddenly became tight, suffocating with a constant cold burn. Like I was naked in the Arctic. My eyes wandered to a large piece of sharp glass on the ground. Struggling and straining, I lifted it out and aimed at the suit. If it cut us, we can't protect you anymore. You think it's like Jane? We're fixing her. We're making her right. We're making all of them right. Just like we did for you. What the hell are you talking about? We've already been protecting you for decades, Agent Fox. When you spoke in class without raising your hand, I punished you so we didn't do it again. I pulled the trigger for you in Japan so you be a good soldier. I shielded your eyes in Chile so you focus on the task director who asked of you. You're perfect now, just the way we want you. I breathed angrily. You think it's like Jane? We're fixing her. She doesn't need to be fixed. You've already done so much for us. The least we can do is shield you from one little indiscretion. I haven't done shit for you. Leaning forward, the alien whispered. And if you don't cut us off, that is exactly how you'll remember it. I felt a burst of warm air blast over my skin and I kept cutting started across my chest. Stop it! I ripped through the suit, my shirt, and drew blood. The extraterrestrial vanished. From a deep freeze to an intense heat, I collapsed to the floor, sweaty and shivering. Strong arm pulled me off the floor, yelling, and dragged me outside the stone wall inn. The outside was brighter than I remember, more vibrant, happier, more joyful, and I saw everything the way it should have been, should be seen. Billy sang, the world listened. So here's to a fairer tomorrow, when we'll face the world with a smile, the right one besides us to cherish and guide us. This is what makes life worthwhile. Mr. Hauser was Don Squito? The windmills were a real monster that will fight together. And finally we danced to our own beats but in the same direction. The riot continued for 5 days. Yes, this is about the Stonewall riot. I returned from the FBI shortly afterward. It was time to enjoy what the world has to offer. I thought like the alien would mean something else, but it actually meant something I didn't expect, and it's really cool. You good? Hey there, Silverfox. Oh, look at that. A series of evil AIs? What? Illustrated by what? Okay. You designed by... What? Is that the name of a person? I hope that is the name of a person. It's nice. Thanks for reading. Yeah, I absolutely enjoy it. I also love this. This gives me some more historical context of like, I guess you can take it for granted, but like, you know what I'm saying about the Stonewall Riot, which is a really interesting event back then. But I guess that's all for Love-Sucking Demons. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoy it. It's a little fun reading to do. See you later then in my next video. As always, it's a great question, Bimmy. Bye bye.